Hey, how's it going? It's AJ. We're here on another episode of Keys to Utah Rentals with Keyrenter Property Management. We're super excited to be here with you today. Today we're going to talk about DIY versus having a property manager. Why do you even need a property manager? You can do it yourself, right? Well, that's true. If you want to set the rental rate using the market comparables, so you got to make sure that you're up to speed on what the market comparables are, and this is just for leasing. You got to take photo and video of the properties. Piece of cake, no problem. That's easy. Anyone can do that with an iPhone, right? So they say. Advertise the rental in all the right places, and there's probably 20 different platforms you can do it. You need to phone screen your prospects. Make sure that you've got systems in place to do that, and to make sure that you're doing it consistently each time, or you can get nailed by the state. You need to go show the property. That's important. Then you need to screen the tenants, make sure that you do all the background checks and all the credit checks and all the social media checks and everything that needs to happen to make sure that they're and you know, verification of employment, and also making sure that you check with their previous landlord and things. You need to run the reports to make sure that you understand all the different aspects of the property. You need to set your leasing policies so that everything can be consistent throughout the entire stay of that 12-month lease is typical. And then you need to sign the leases, right? So that's the leasing side of it. No problem. You can do all that while working a full-time job and while taking care of your family, maybe some church obligations and some hobbies. The other things you can do are do preventative maintenance on the property while the tenant is there. You can hire out the landscaping and the repairs and make sure you're monitoring that, you know, on a constant basis. You've got to coordinate with all the contractors, making sure they're coming and they're going and they're not bothering the tenants, and making sure you're coordinating with the tenants. You can act as the project manager to make sure that certain aspects of the maintenance issues are getting managed throughout the process. You can complete the property inspections on a quarterly basis, which is required. And then the funnest part you can do as a DIY landlord is you can be on call for emergencies 24/7. And I know you love to take calls while you're on vacation with your kids in the pool. You got to make sure you're compliant with the Fair Housing and Fit Premise laws. You got to make sure that you know you're abiding by all the city laws and all the state laws that are also applicable. You got to make sure that legal counsel and the eviction process is dialed in, so should you have something, you can act really quickly. You got to make sure you're collecting the rent, and then you know what to do with it when they don't pay. You got to keep the proper records, because if you're ever asked in court to come basically justify your decision on evicting someone or some other process, you can back it up. You need to prepare for all your taxes, because that's going to happen, you know, regardless of who you are in this nation. You need to have the proper insurance in place to make sure that it will cover everything, and make sure your tenants do as well. You need to have awesome customer service to keep those tenants so that they don't stay just 12 months. If they're good, they stay longer term, so it costs you less money. And then you need to handle all the lease and the city violations and neighbor complaints if you get them. Or you can have a life and enjoy your your family and your career and actually your hobbies, and do things that are fun. And you can hire a property manager like KeyrenterProvo.com. We would love to be your property manager and take care of all those things for you and more, so you don't have to worry and you can just relax and enjoy your investment. So look us up at KeyrenterProvo.com. We'd love to work with you.